What's up, YouTube? Welcome to Opinion Piece. My name is Thaddeus. I'm a huge fan of anime and all things nerdy. This is my first upload, with many more to come. But I thought, there really isn't a better way to get my channel started than to give you my personal top 10 anime. All right, so before we jump straight into the top 10, I'm going to kind of give you a couple of factors that I really pay attention to as I'm deciding which ones are my favorites and which ones are just good anime but didn't make it into the top 10. First thing is going to be the main character's mentality. It could be, him growing, or learning, or even changing his perspective or strategy on things. But it's really important to me that they have a strong personality, but willing to adapt and make things happen when they need to. Next would be story progression. Uh, there are some anime where not much changes from episode to episode as far as the world around them. But me personally, I like when a story kind of progresses and they stay on the same storyline. And I'm really not a big of fan of anime that has a lot of filler. I like it when the story moves on and you stay on subject and they move from place to place or from situation to situation with, you know, the steps being made to get better and progress. Next would be action. I am a big fan of shonen manga and anime in general that have a lot of fighting and power ups and all that stuff. So I love watching the big epic fights and even the small, some of the statement fights where it's just a one shot where somebody makes a statement by just showing how much more powerful they are than the next person. So yeah, action is definitely very important to me. Next would be comedy. So comedy to me has to go hand in hand with the action. It has to be action packed, but it also has to have a lot of comedic relief and awkward moments and just randomness that kind of keeps you guessing because otherwise it gets you kind of feel like you're just going through the motions. There's no nothing to cut the tension. So definitely comedy is a big deal for me. Next thing that kind of goes into the comedy is randomness and originality. Because uh, when things become predictable, it just it's not as fun in my opinion. I don't like it when I see things coming. I like when things come from out of nowhere. So definitely a big deal for me is originality and randomness. Just so keep you on your toes and keep guessing what's going on next. And probably the last thing I would say is relatableness and I always like when I can either relate to the character or if maybe just a situation or sometimes even the bad guy. Sometimes the bad guy has a cool ideology that maybe what he's doing is evil, but he has intentions there that maybe started from something good and just became something else. So yeah, that those are the things that really factor in when I'm deciding which ones are going to be in my top 10. All right, guys, let's jump into the list. And coming in at number 10 for me is going to be Black Clover. It took me a while to actually get started on it. I heard from a lot of people, a lot of mixed reviews, good things, bad things, but I was very interested in it. And I'm not typically into things that are like just magic only. Like I don't know, just that kind of stuff doesn't always do it for me. But when after I got started, it was a bit of a slow start. But probably 8, 10 episodes in, I was hooked, man. It really just had me going with all the characters, Asta, Yami, Gordon, all the Black Bulls and Charmy. I love the Black Bulls. I love all of them. They're freaking hilarious and they're just rambunctious and crazy. You never know what they're gonna do next. But yeah, I even like a few of the other factions. Like one of my favorite characters from a different faction would be Mario Leona. She's just a badass. So anybody who's a big Black Clover fan, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. She's a badass. But yeah, I think the creativity and how they use the magic, and it's not just straight up wave a wand and whatever happens. It's a lot of thought went into how they're going to attack, defend, and the strategies to use them all. So that's really cool for me. The bad guys.
the devil characters and even just some of the people who help the devil characters out are very interesting. And the devils, I mean, they're just creepy, man. Is if you ever look into those eyes, there's definitely no soul in those eyes. It's really crazy to look at. But yeah, overall, it's a great anime. The story progresses really quickly after you get into the first 10, 15 episodes. But it's just a lot of fun, a lot of comedy, all that good stuff. So if you haven't tried it, definitely got to try it as soon as possible. All right. Black Clover is awesome, but we're going to get into number 9. Number 9, ironically, is Kaiju 8, right? Because you would think Kaiju 8 would be number 8. No, but it's number 9. It's really good. Kafka, as a main character, he's just, man, he's all over the place. And he really makes you feel like, you know, after he has a little bit of control of his powers, he really makes you feel like when he shows up to situations that he's going to handle it. And you kind of feel like, oh, finally he's here. Now things are going to turn out better. But yeah, him and Reno, they meet each other doing that monster disposal job. And, you know, they really make a bond pretty quick. And, you know, they have similar goals. So watching them team up is really fun. But there's so many good characters. I mean, you got Soshiro, Isao, Jin. It's one of those animes that from episode 1, I'm laughing. There's action, you know, there's tense moments, and you know, even a couple of heartfelt moments as well. But yeah, the fighting is super intense, and you know, the kaiju that they face as a team is crazy. And I mean, the main villain is, man, that guy, his powers are crazy. At this point, they seem endless, and his strategic moves are just incredible. And he catches, every time they think they're a step ahead of him, they're 2 steps behind him, and it's really fun to watch. So yeah, if you want another one, it's new, but it's really good. I definitely suggest it. Kaiju 8 is awesome, but we're getting to anime number 8. Anime number 8 for me is Castlevania. It's probably not going to be in a lot of other people's top 10, but what really took me about Castlevania, because it's an age old tale of you know, gotta kill Dracula. He's the most powerful vampire, and you know, he has so many minions and an army and all that stuff. And also, anything that has a religious theme is always kind of eerie and just kind of scary and spooky to me. But it's really good. It's really well done. Trevor, Alucard, and Sypha are, you know, the main characters, the main protagonists trying to locate and kill Dracula and figure out how to do it and all that stuff. And watching them go through their trials and tribulations is a lot of fun and very interesting. A lot of good bad guys. Besides Dracula, you got his generals, Hector and Isaac. They're both powerful and scary in their own right. But what really catches my attention here is the build up from situation to situation, and it takes a lot of different turns as the story progresses that catches me by surprise and interesting, and always has you guessing what's going to happen next, from strategy to action. And yeah, and Trevor, he's a cocky bastard, but he gets the job done. So it's definitely one I would highly recommend. Let's move on to number 7. And it's ironically a good number 7 for the number and for the name, because it's Dragon Ball. And we all know you got to collect the 7 Dragon Balls to make your wish. So kind of fits. But I am talking about Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is amazing in its own right. And honestly, it was my first anime ever. So it definitely is a big nostalgia loaded one for me. But after I watched Dragon Ball up to, I think, the Namek arc, and they were facing Frieza, then I found out that Dragon Ball was a thing. I didn't even know anything about it up to that point. I was young and had no idea, and, you know, it was quite the discovery for me. But yeah, as soon as I could, I bought the full DVD set and I watched it all the way through. But yeah, Dragon Ball, when Goku's a kid, you know, what it really showed me is that the reason why Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Daima, all that. The reason why that stuff is so popular and so successful is because all of the relationships and themes and things that were built from Dragon Ball. All of those super successful ones have so much built have so much of it as a foundation from Dragon Ball, and it just what gives them the opportunity to soar as high as they have. But I definitely like Dragon Ball more than Dragon Ball Z just because I thought the story, the characters, and Red Ribbon Army, and people being corrupt and stuff like that, and Goku being super naive and kind of seeing the world for the first time. But yeah, I mean, you got Master Roshi, you got childhood Krillin, you got Bulma as a teenager. Just so many awesome characters that you still see today in all the current ones, and it's crazy to see how far they've come. But if you've only seen Dragon Ball Z and Super and whatnot, definitely go back and give Dragon Ball a chance. On to number six. Number six for me is gonna be Death Note. I think it's one of the only anime for me that doesn't have as much fighting and action per se, like most shonen manga. That was just crazy tense, edge of my seat, trying to see who's strategically going to make their move next. And yeah, it's amazing. It's a classic for a reason. But, some of my favorite characters is definitely Ryuk and Rem, the devils themselves, the ones who have the death notes and try to let people find them. Those characters are just crazy designs, twisted personalities, and they try to be sly and strategic in their own way, but definitely Light and L definitely take the hat when it comes to being strategic and trying to be one or two steps ahead of the next guy. Super intense, but amazing to watch. Moving on to number five. Number five is Inuyasha. Man, big nostalgia one for me. It's probably the one I watched the most besides Dragon Ball Z when I was younger, until I really caught on to other ones. But it was just such a long one for me, and it had so many different episodes and so many things going on. So many good characters like Moroku, Jakin, Miyoga, Sesshomaru, Shippo, and then of course, the leads, which are Inuyasha and Kagome, the reincarnation of Kikyo is classic. It did have that weirdly long hiatus. I forget how long it was, but it was for a long time. But they came back and they finished off the anime, and they finished it strong. I really enjoyed the ending. Tons of action, a lot of closure, which was the biggest thing, because it kind of just ended on a cliffhanger, like when nobody really knows what's happened next. But they have a really cool bad guy, Naraku. It feels like he's unbeatable sometimes. Even when you beat him, you still feel like you don't, and that's just really cool to have as a bad guy, to just feel like just feel he's unbeatable, and then when you finally get to him, it's that much better. And I really liked Sesshomaru a lot because he was like the dark, mysterious character, super powerful, but you didn't really know what he was ever really thinking. You just were just hoping to see him again in the next episode because it was just cool design in my opinion. Next is number four. Number four for me is Mob Psycho 100. I had no idea what I was getting into when I started watching this, and it kind of just blew me away because it was just so nonchalant, and it felt like nothing was really happening at the beginning. And when he finally, starts to lose control of his emotions, and you start to see how powerful he really is, it was stunning, and it really caught me, backpedaling, and I just wasn't really ready for what was about to happen. But this one has tons of visually stunning action, and it has a lot of funny random characters. Some of my favorites are his boss, Erotica, because he's always, pretending to be a sidekick, and we all know he's not. But he scams people anyway, and he uses mom to to make his money. So it's really fun to watch somebody just fake it so hard and then actually have a way to pull through. It's hilarious. And then Dimple. Dimple is just a random little ghost. He gets exercised but not fully disposed of, and he kind of hangs around. He winds up being a jerk here and there, but really funny and a little bit of a pervert. But he's funny. He's fun to watch. Just a really good, relatable, but tons of action, a lot of humor. Really good anime. Third place for me is gonna go to Hunter x Hunter. Um, Hunter x Hunter, I know a lot of people love it, and it's a very popular one. You know, it's been animated more than once. Um, the mangaka, he is still currently coming out with new chapters for the manga. He takes random, really long hiatuses, and I think that would be the only weak point I would see in the show. There's tons of stuff that happen in the show that sometimes people aren't a fan of, but I think what makes that a great asset to the show would be sometimes life doesn't work out the way you want it to do, or maybe even the way you think it's going to. So it has a bit of a real aspect where it's not always going to be happy go lucky. Sometimes what you don't want the outcome to be is what it is, maybe even worse, you know. So that aspect of it to me just kind of always stands out when I think of it as, you know, a top anime. But what really sticks out for this one for me as well is that when I was growing up, I had a really close friend, and we always got in and out of trouble together. So watching, you know, Killua and Gon go through so many different things as a duo is awesome, because you know you got the main characters like Kurapika, you know, Leorio, and all those other guys. It's just really awesome to watch those two work together to reach certain goals and things like that. Killua's family is crazy strong, crazy powerful, crazy influential in the world. And you don't really realize that until later on in the show, but man, he comes from a crazy cool family. And watching all these different characters fight and how Nen works and all that stuff is just interesting, especially when they don't know that it's even a thing and then they start realizing it's a thing. Just their progression and strength, and you know, watching them, you know, impress the people around them is just a lot of fun and very nostalgic for me, for my childhood. You know, just me and my best friend just getting in and out of trouble, man. It's just good times, really good times. So another thing Hunter x Hunter has, besides the nostalgia of me and my best friend getting in and out of trouble, is they have some crazy good, creepy bad guys, you know? From Hisoka to Meruem to Crollo, you know, it's just, man, so good. They are twisted, you know, they have their own backstories, you know, sad backstories, of course, but they're twisted, and they're all about reaching their goals, and they don't care what stands in their way. So watching them, you know, try to get to what they want is just really good, and it puts obviously the main group of characters in under some extreme stressful situations, but man, the action is just super tense, super powerful, and I love it. They even have a couple of you know, wise characters, you know, one of them being Netero. I thought Netero was really cool. He obviously winds up being one of the strongest characters in the show, but watching him mentor the boys when they're younger and him seeing the potential in them is pretty cool and uplifting to see. So yeah, lot of cool characters in the show, and it's a classic. Most people already know it. Number two, ironically named it. The name of the show is ironic to the number, right? And just like Dragon Ball was 7, uh, One Punch is the opposite, because it's not on, it's just off. So One Punch Man is number 2. So instead of it being number 1, it's number 2, even though it's One Punch Man. So, anyways, Saitama and Genos are the main duo, and you know, Saitama's the main character, right? He's One Punch Man himself. He's a hero who just is a hero for fun, and he's not in it for the glory of the fame. He's just in it for the love of the game. So Genos winds up following him and realizing how powerful he is, even though other people don't realize or care how strong he is. Some of my favorite characters are Sonic, Moomin Rider, Silver Fang. Garo is an amazing bad guy. King is so ironic and funny, and watching him just luckily get in and out of situations is amazing to watch. The awkward, dry humor always has me laughing from episode to episode. Like the one time when he kills the war beetle, and he does it quickly just to get to a sale in time that he's not even in time for, but he's upset that he's missing the sale, and that's why he kills it in one punch. And that kind of stuff, it just cracks me up. So Yeah, I mean the action is just the way the anime put it together. I haven't read fully through the manga, but the way the anime puts the action together is just visually stunning and just really showcases Saitama's power and dominance over basically all of his opponents. And he just always puts in a look of astonishment on everyone who witnesses how he defeats. You know, a lot of characters will be having an issue with one character or one bad guy or the other, and all of a sudden he comes in and 3 seconds that guy's gone and is not coming back. So just really good action, and for me it was the first anime I had ever watched that had a character that was just all powerful in the sense of he doesn't ever really face a challenge physically. All his challenges are always mentally or socially. It's never physically. So it just cracks me up how somebody so strong can still get so many small things wrong, and it's just awesome and hilarious to watch as it goes through the story. So I can't wait for them to put out more seasons and watch more of his fights and see more of the bad guys, animated. So it's definitely looking forward to that. This is another one that the name matches the number. Number one is One Piece. My boy Luffy's right here holding the straw hat. You already know what that's about. One Piece is, sometimes people try to say it's people only rate it number one or rate it highly because of how long it's been going. Um, I would say that is a component, but I don't think that's the main reason. It definitely isn't the main reason for me. I'm just lucky enough that my favorite anime has just been ongoing for so long, so there's so much of it to enjoy. But that's not what makes it great to me. What makes it great to me is, I mean, so many good characters, so many relatable. The world building is just so many characters, so many places, so many moving pieces, and so hard to keep track of as a fan and try to guess what Oda's gonna do next. It's very rare that me or anybody on the planet gets it really right. Is very few times, and the ones that do, I always give them their props because man, tough to do to guess on that kind of stuff. But I would say one of my favorite characters who isn't the main character, Luffy, would be Zoro. I always feel like mentally me and Zoro are on a similar channel because we're very one track mind and very straightforward on how we want to get things done. So, and he definitely has his dark humor in him. So I definitely I would say I relate to him, and he cracks me up. And I mean his sword play is at this point, as far as we are in the story, is basically second to none. But we'll see, right? We'll see. Um, a random character I really enjoy watching would be Bartolomeo because he's a perfect example of how Oda introduces somebody to you and he gives you a view of them that like wow this guy's this or that, but then he totally flips it when you really get to know the person. But at first glance he's here to piss me off. Oh, he's annoying. He's just being a jerk, this or that. But then he winds up being one of Luffy's greatest disciples and, trying to help Luffy at any point. And it's amazing. He's an amazing addition to the growing world of One Piece. There's always more characters and more places and more things popping up. And I look forward to losing track of all of it. Also, some of my favorite characters will be the Yonko. I really like Whitebeard. Whitebeard was such a badass. Shanks is awesome. Kaido and Big Mom were just great opponents, and they really lived up to their name of being the strongest. And yeah, huge fan of the show in general. There's a lot going on in the story currently, and I'm always waiting for those weekly chapters to come out. And I don't know, man. Every week I try to stay up to date with it as much as I can, and at this point I can't get enough of it. As soon as I possibly can, I'm gonna go to Japan and see all the One Piece stuff that I can possibly see while I'm there. So that's definitely in the works eventually, and that'll be definitely on the channel whenever I get the chance. But yeah, so those are my top 10. Obviously, not everybody's top 10 is going to be the same. If some of yours, maybe it's your number 1, 2, or 3 that I didn't mention at all, please drop it in the comments because, the more I hear about it, I'll drop a video on it and give it my honest rating and what I think about it. and go into detail, and hey, maybe even learn some new things about some anime that I don't know much about. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments as far as that. The last thing I'm gonna do for this video is gonna give you some honorable mentions, because making a top 10 list of all time is just so tough. There's so many good anime out there. There's so many underrated ones. There's so many just, man, so good, but hey, these are my preferences type of deal. All right, some of my honorable mentions would be Dragon Ball Z. I mean, right? Because Dragon Ball Z probably introduced most of America to anime in general. Nobody probably knew what it was until Dragon Ball Z was popular. But yeah, Dragon Ball Z is a big one for me. Obviously, Dragon Ball was in my top 10, so Dragon Ball Z being an honorable mention is a no-brainer. All right, yeah, my next honorable mention would be My Hero Academia. So many amazing characters and very interesting and creative quirks, their superpowers and just how they use them. One for All is amazing. All Might, man, what a guy. What a hero. He really, is the definition of a hero, and he really just puts himself on the line at any chance that he can. Yeah, Deku is an awesome successor to One for All and to All Might, and but I really feel like he's going to live up to the name and bring it to its full power. Kachan is a great rival, and anybody who's really good at anything has a rival, and that helps them get to higher levels because they're chasing each other step by step. Another honorable mention for me would be Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer, I know the manga is finished and they're almost finished animating it, but Demon Slayer is awesome. Just, man, the sword play and the demons and the powers that they have and all that is just amazing. The artwork in the anime is stunning. All of the different samurai have such cool designs and crazy cool powers and personalities. Man, I really am in awe when I'm watching them interact with each other, because they're hilarious and powerful at the same time. So it's a lot of fun to watch. Another one would be Jujutsu Kaisen. I mean, right? It's all the craze right now. People love it. I am really enjoying it myself. I am trying to catch up and read a bit more on it. But the anime has been amazing. The characters are amazing. Crazy start. It really builds up and gets into a fast pace. But yeah, I've really enjoyed Jujutsu Kaisen as it's come out. Another one, it's a little bit shorter and probably a little bit lesser known. So this is probably one of my underrated ones that I feel like is really good. It was just outside of my top 10 would be Gurren Lagann. I mean, Gurren Lagann is just such a inspirational, creative, and really, it really goes to the story. It's only about 25 episodes long, give or take. But it really, as soon as the story gets going, it's, man, full speed, and it's hard to keep up sometimes. It's emotionally a rush. It's has tons of action, and it's just, man, one of my favorites for sure. The last honorable mention I'll give is Attack on Titan. There's a lot of mixed reviews on it. Everybody has, their own view. For me, I would say it was 3 seasons of absolute greatness, almost perfection, like just so good. But then season 4 just didn't do it for me. Some people loved season 4, some people didn't. I'm going to be on the side that didn't. But it doesn't mean it's not great. It just means season 4 for me just wasn't great. But yeah, no, definitely a heavy hitter. I mean, just visually stunning, and the concept is crazy and so creative. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my top 10 in the honorable mentions. I really hope that you guys are enjoying what you've seen so far. Please comment on more things you might want me to talk about. It might be something I'm familiar with or something new. Either way, I'd be happy to get into it for everybody. And that's pretty much it at this point. So I'm signing out. You guys have a good one. See you later.